Say
Yeah.
hi.
So, let me start off by saying this. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. This is our lovely class here at the House of Frida and under the Hoodoo Shop on Parsley. We are having a interesting time during this time. I think what, ladies, we got like 1 2 days till Scorpio season. Priestess Chablis let me know that we like 4 planets deep within a retrograde, and I just it's getting real frisky out here. Outside of that, we'll do our announcements towards the end of class. We're gonna have a little bit of time just to talk about our bad time event this previous August and how everybody enjoyed it. This is really just like a comfort session for everybody to catch up, right? And have conversations about where we are, where the last bit of magic that we did on reparations, where that went, and so on and so forth. So, Priestess Indy, we were talking about what? The bath time event. We were talking about Puerto Rico for next year. We
Yes.
were. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. Yes, we were.
So, Priestess Chablis, would you like to talk about the bath time event from this year?
Yes. So the baptism event, we all got bathed in the moonlight. I know, so cliche, but it was so lovely. So we got wet from head to toe, and we were able to wear our garments afterwards. And the sound bowl sessions, we, had little cups of liquor for the spirits. It was a very pleasant experience. It was very eye-opening. The changes started from that night for a couple of weeks afterwards, realizing what served you and what didn't. There were boundaries established, new connections and deeper connections to the ancestors and the Igungumi. My experience in particularly, I wasn't able to eat eggs for a while, broke my heart. But I say that to say that they had me fasting it for a stronger purpose. And the sacrificing of eggs allowed me to set firmer boundaries when it comes to people. And it allowed me to reach a deeper understanding of who I am as a priestess. It also allowed me to have a deeper connection to the divine feminine ancestors that walk with me. We were able to talk about what I looking forward to being as a woman, as a priestess, and as their child. It's a lot. And I'm still getting downloads even now. So my experience was a pretty pleasant one. And I enjoyed it. I look forward to the next one, to be honest. Yeah. This time we're going into the waters. Woo. I'm so excited for that type of journey.
Literally heading to Puerto Rico next year, ladies. It's gonna be a lot of fun. October 2025 is going to be a show for us. It's going to be fascinating. Priestess Indy, would you like to talk about our class on reparations and the results that you got from that? Because you started briefly, but I think the people would like to know.
Yes. So we had that class on reparations. Excuse my appearance. We had a class on reparations. I want to say it was either in June or July. I can't, it was one of the J's. So I can't remember the exact month. But it was aptly timed because a lot of people had me a little confused, to say the least. So everything just it panned out perfectly when I went to the river. I just so happened to have all the supplies. I just so happened to find like everything, like it just flowed. So I went, I prayed, I threw my bottle in the river. I had an offering of butternut squash, but it didn't quite flow down the river. It kept getting caught on this like rig thing that's in the river by where I live. So I kept trying to like, I'm like, go in the river, go, go. But like, if we can go, so I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna argue with you. So then I just left. I recently returned back to that spot. It's October. So that would have been about four, well, 3 or 4 months, 4 or 5, somewhere between 3 and 5. I don't know because I can't remember when the class was. I just went back recently to go collect some river water for just my arsenal in general, but I was unable to collect river water. But I was led to go back to that exact area that I threw the bottle. And I came back and the butternut squash, I guess the river was a bit swollen when I went during the summer months because it was a lot of rain. So it had subsided down. So I guess the squash had enough time to get watered and nurtured, and it literally grew into like a garden. There's like baby squash within the next few weeks that'll be ready to be harvested. So, um, Oshun is a very she's interesting. Um, and she's spirits in general. Like if you pay attention, they speak a lot in metaphors and they give you a lot of things to ponder upon. Because now I have to go do divination and see exactly what she meant by that. I have a feeling I know, but you know, we shall see.
I love that. I love that. That's her talking about, things may not go the way that you think that they're supposed to go, but look at how much can grow if you just listen to me. And that's why she sent that squash right on back. I would have too. She's like, no, I think I'll grow a tree out of it instead, which is hilarious because I've never heard about that happening to anyone before. And so that's quite fascinating. We're gonna go ahead and let Priestess Chablis get started with her lecture on parsley, and the ladies of the House of Frida talk about their assignments for the week, and then we're gonna go from there. Okay, everybody?
Hello, everyone. My name is Chablis. I'm one of the priestesses under the House of Freedom, and we had an assignment about working with parsley. And my experience with this beautiful herb has been quite joyous. He has brought a different type of structure to my life. He's brought it logically and emotionally. He set healthy boundaries for me, dealing with my family and dealing with myself. I think people tend to forget that we establish boundaries within ourselves and then we allow it to be broken, maneuvered, or how do I want to say it? Or flexible. That's the word I want to use, is flexible. So he protected my mind, allowing me not to overthink my decisions, standing firm in it. He allowed me to start recognizing what the issues was as far as healing, what needed to be healed, what needed to be let go, what needed to be put in the forefront. He also allowed me to sit with my divine masculine ancestors, him being a herb of the air, of fire. And recently I found out of water allowed me to tap into things I didn't know I needed help with, things I just thought I was just okay and I wasn't. So he allowed me to realize within myself that this is where I need help at, and it's okay to ask for help, to ask for those assistance. He showed me that you can be kind to yourself and still have a good time. He brought a lot of cheerfulness when I was feeling down. Sometimes when you have like late at night thoughts and things like that, he inspired me to be courageous. He empowered me to make decisions even when I was uncomfortable because it made other people uncomfortable. Sometimes having people pleasing tendencies really does affect you. And it's because a lot of women were nurtured that way. We were taught that way. So reprogramming my mind, he's definitely assisted me with. And that's one of his qualities, is actually governs the mind. He actually helps you think of things in a more logical perspective without so much emotions being attached. So that's one of the ways I've used parsley this week. He's still working on me. I used him in a candle, in a green candle specifically, because I knew I needed work on the heart.
That's lovely. I love that. So I'll talk about my experience with parsley because it's been a real ghetto 2 weeks. Okay. So I chose to incorporate my parsley assignments into into my food actually. I had made a meal and I chose to use parsley to be my enchanted element of the meal. So for those of you that talk about kitchen witching, cook with intention, okay? Like cook with intention. So I made pasta. I used parsley. Presumably actually enchanted my parsley for me because I was tired. Okay. I was tired. I didn't feel like it. I was tired. And so what parsley taught me is about strength. Parsley will remind you that nobody can take anything from you, no matter what happens, no matter what trials, tribulations, lesson learned we may go through. Sometimes when we go through hard times, not only do we spend a lot of time blaming ourselves, what could I have done differently? How could I have changed this? Wow, I shouldn't have done this. A lot of times, a lot of times it's not a situation where we've done something wrong. We just needed to learn that particular lesson. And parsley reminds us that you just because you priestess don't mean you always got the answer. A lot of us grew up in environments, especially as young women, we were raised in environments where we were expected at a very young age to have some very unreasonable answers for some nonsense that we didn't start. Okay. We were raised in environments where you always supposed to have an answer. You were always supposed to know the right thing to do. We weren't taught or raised like children. So now as adults, especially adult women, we're sitting in these spaces thinking that we're supposed to have all the answers to stuff that we've never had to deal with before. How could you possibly have the answer? How could you possibly know what is and isn't the right thing to do if you don't actually go through it? Right. And so take your learning lessons as just that, learning lessons. You didn't know what to do before it happened because you ain't never had to deal with it before. Right. Like we have a funny saying here in the House of Frida. We talk about our human experiences, and sometimes we forget that's the House of Frida's mascot that y'all hear in the background. Um, she's adding her 2 cents to the conversation, but we often don't understand that mistakes are just that. They're mistakes and they're human experiences. We're not always gonna have the answers to every little second of our lives. And whoever taught you that you were supposed to is unreasonable, delusional, or both. More than likely both. It's normally the both part. You're unreasonable and you're delusional. Not everybody is supposed to have the answer. Just because someone made you think that you were supposed to, they were wrong too. And the delusional part comes from expecting everybody to behave the way that you taught yourself to behave. Right? Don't let nobody put you in a box. Never let anybody make you sit here and feel like you're supposed to have the answer to everything. You're supposed to know how to figure things out because you're just not. You're not going to. And if you don't learn things by experiencing them, then have you actually learned them at all? We make jokes. I won't say we make jokes, but we hear jokes a lot about the field office versus like home base, right? One person is like out in the field, one person is sitting in a cubicle. Yet for some reason, the person in the cubicle think they know everything. But what happens when you're in the field? You realize you don't know nothing. You have to act on your toes. Nothing goes the way that you think it's going to go. And you constantly having to improvise everything that you do. So take that, use that metaphor, that example that I just gave y'all and run with it. Can't nobody in the office tell you how you're supposed to be handling something in the field, but they definitely not in the field with you. And the majority of the time, you ain't even got the balls to be in the field out here with me. You really don't. You ain't bold enough to take the risks I've taken to get where I need to be. Yet for some reason you think you deserve my spot or you're entitled to where I've gotten, but you're not even willing to take the same risk. So whenever someone tries to judge y'all in that realm of things, the majority of the time, either they did it and they didn't learn anything from it. And sometimes learning things from it doesn't mean, oh, I didn't do it again. Sometimes it means, were you gracious with yourself? Did you learn anything from it for real in terms of like your human experience? One you know, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, you guys, but you got to give yourself the grace that you give to other people, and you got to give yourself the grace that somebody else will never give you. Sometimes you really are your first, last, and only line of defense. You really can be. And so when it comes to Parsley and how we're talking about strength and how we're talking about endurance, right? Remember that Parsley and the spirits in general are a lot more forgiving of you than you are of yourself. Okay, like a lot more forgiving. The things that we blame ourselves for, the things that we expect ourselves to know, the spirits are like, we didn't expect you to know it. We just expected you to learn from it when it happened. That's it. So that's it. That's it. We're gonna pass the mic on to Priestess Faiza, so she can talk about her Parsley experience. We're supposed to be hearing from Priestess Diamond, but she's having some technical difficulties, so maybe she'll add what she learned into the chat, and one of us will read it for her. Okay, everybody? Okay.
Hello, everybody. So my thank you. So my experience with Parsley was I had to do some, I guess, heavy-handed work. And the role that Parsley played in it was that it kept me calm throughout the work and throughout the situation for the work. And like usually in that energy, I would be angry or like disturbed or mad or sad, but it kept me level-headed to get the work done and level-headed to like accept what happened, even if it wasn't towards me. But, you know, I still felt the emotions about it. Parsley also removed someone's, I don't really want to go too deep into the work, but parsley is good for taking away someone's protection. It's good for taking away someone's support system, especially if they're being, what's the word? If it's not really support, it's more so, what's the word?
Support and enabling are two different things. I think the word
Yeah.
you're looking for is an enabler.
Yes, that's the word. Enabler. So it pretty much took away anyone that could have enabled that behavior, anyone that could protect him from his own situations. I really don't want to go too deep into the work because it is very personal. It's very personal work. So, but that's what Parsley that's the role that Parsley played within the work itself, is removing someone's protection. Also healing, allowing the other person to accept the situation for what it was. And like, I don't want to say move on, but help with the healing process of moving on. Yeah, that's pretty much what I got from it. But overall, it was very soothing. That's the energy I got from Parsley. Very soothing, very comforting, and very I'm gonna get the job done and I don't care about the situation, or my emotions won't be put into the situation. That's what Parsley was used for.
I think it's funny that you say that, Priestess, because I've always seen parsley as a hex breaking herb. Like whenever we talk about like breaking a hex on somebody, when somebody's throwing juju or whatever else it may be, I always think about parsley in their bath and their soap and their salve, you know, in their teas and tinctures and things, because parsley also helps to remove a lot of the anger from the situation in general, like you said. A lot of times when it comes to like evening the odds, we're not really evening the odds, we're out for vengeance. And vengeance is never necessarily evening the odds. We're almost always trying to hurt somebody more than they hurt us. So when I have experienced and used parsley when it comes to breaking work on students, clients, any of you, or whatever else it may be, it's always a situation where it's like keeping whoever the victim may be real calm and real level headed, and helping them to understand that regardless of what this person may have done to you, One, not only is it like nothing compared to whatever these spirits gonna do to them, okay? Like Parsley is real big on. There's a reason why they call it what you call it, Shibboleth? The Green Devil, something like that. Like it's a situation where it's like Parsley is so can be so unbiased. He's always on the side of justice, always on the side of what's right or what's wrong. And when he does things like take away support systems and dismantle foundations, it's normally because you're using that support system and those foundations for the wrong things. One thing you cannot do is build you can't build a house of cards off of bullshit. It's wrong to build the house of cards and it's wrong to use the bullshit as the foundation. And it's bound to fall at some point in time. So Parsley is not only that reminder to whoever the victim may be, it's that reminder that your life goes on and encourages you to move on, like Priestess Faiza said. But it also encourages you to, like, as the perpetrator, it's like, oh, he finna take everything from you. Like everything. It's very much the energy of, because you chose not to act right, he's like a dad whooping ass. I don't know how to explain it. Like when you get in trouble at school and your dad come in, he yanking his son's PlayStation out the wall. He doing petty stuff like taking batteries out the remote. He taking all the Jordans and the name brands, and it's like he's paying your rent. Now he ain't paying your rent in his high rise no more. It's very much the energy of, since you want to act a fool, I'm gonna show you what a fool is and where fools end up. And so when I think about Parsley, that's what I think about. I think about the fact that like the justice always shows up. Like there's always, your just desserts somewhere behind. Even when you all think about the devil card, since Parsley can be referred to lordshiply, Green Devil, I don't even remember. I'm gonna have her say something after this because she know the names. I'm drawing a blank right now. But when you think about like the devil card in the tarot, you think about the fact that I love it / hate it when people be like, the devil made him do it. That ain't nothing but the devil talking. No, that's you. It's you. Because if you look at the devil card in the tarot, yes, the devil is standing there, right? Or a depiction of the devil. And he has chains around a man and a woman's neck. But if y'all peep, the chains are always very loose. It's never like he has you by the neck and you can't stop yourself from what you're doing. It's like you like being in this space. You like disobeying the Lord. You like doing something wrong that may or may not feel right, but does it really? Right. And so I believe that Parsley also takes away the gratification that you get for doing something that you ain't got no business doing. He does a really good job of dismantling your ego. He will strip you down. He will strip you down to your drawers. It's bad. But no, when you think about the devil card, looking at it reflection wise, it's very much the energy of, you're doing this to yourself. Because you're doing it to yourself. And that's your decision, but you're gonna have to live with the consequences of what you're doing. There's only but so long you can stay in hell and tell yourself the hell ain't hot. Right? Y'all know that old saying, the old folks say, they'd be like, I need this, where am I? Well, and people in hell need ice water, baby. It's imagine sending yourself to hell and then asking for some water. Like I don't know how to explain it. You did it to yourself. So whenever y'all think about breaking, work or whatever, come to your love goddess, of course. But get some parsley, put it in your food so you can think clearly, so you're not acting irrationally, so you're not lashing out, so that you mentally are not caving, right? Because the mental and emotional health are always important when it comes to situations like this. You definitely want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself instead of like flying off the deep end looking for revenge. And I really do mean that. Like, revenge will take you to some dark places. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. Y'all ain't never heard that before? There's more than one way to skin a cat. So, Priestess Chablis, what is the name of Parsley? Because it's on my mind at this point.
He's known as the Green Devil and also the Devil's Weed. And the reason they call it that, because even though we get in such abundance, he takes a long growth period. So it's stated in different folk floors that he can either go back to hell 3, 6, 7, or 9 times before he comes back up. He also dispels poisons.
Can you repeat his nickname one more time? I was writing in my notes.
He's sometimes called, and especially like witchcraft, he's called the Green Devil, also the Devil's Weed. There are multiple Devil's Weed, but he's also one. He represents death of a lot of things. They decorated tombs with parsley as well. And just some notes about him. He can break taboos. We know he breaks hexes because he's used in a lot of hex breaking work. He also sets them. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, he gets you in order. He's very much that air sign that people always concentrating him on being. He's very persuasive. He also teaches you a lot about perseverance and getting through the hard times. He also makes you take accountability for your roles in certain places, even when it's uncomfortable. But he's gentle about it. When he realizes that you are hurt, or that you're in need of healing, he'll be like, it's okay, that you didn't pay attention. But very much Big Daddy energy. He's ruled by Mercury. He has Pluto in him as well, and Saturn.
How would you recommend that practitioners and priests alike, priestess should partake in parsley for this season, especially considering you all know, well, y'all didn't see it, but that's the House of Freedom's mascot. Ignore her, okay? She's like adding her 3.5 cents into this conversation. But Priestess Indy and I, before we turned the cameras on, before we hit record, we were talking about how Scorpio season is lining. Priestess Shibley and I were talking about this earlier today, how times are getting darker. Priestess Indy talked about how she's gonna go get herself some dark shades from the hoodoo shop just to make sure she could see everybody and their movements clearly, and I would recommend it. Okay. It's a time where we may not like it, or we don't always know how to embrace it, but the dark times be necessary, y'all. They're always necessary because it'll teach you what you need to kill. That's what the cold seasons, fall and winter, are for, is teach you what you need to kill before new things can be reborn. Because if you're sitting here, and why do I feel like I've taught this lecture before? If you're sitting here not killing things that need to die during this time, you're just going to replant them during the spring. And then they're going to get ridiculous during the summer, like everything else does. You got a little bit of heat, people don't know how to act, right? That's why when you think about explosive relationships and domestic violence, I don't know about y'all, but I think about the summertime, okay? When it's hot outside and when people don't know how to act. And then during the fall, you try to pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and then in the winter, you're trying to kill it again. You do not want to be sitting here trying to kill things over and over and over again. That's no fun. Kill it now. Let it die now. Stop reminiscing about it. It's okay to be sad about it, but it's time for it to go. It's time for it to go. So, priestess, how would you recommend that they use parsley during this very Scorpio-like approaching season in these darker times? Because it's gonna be dark for a little while.
Well, how we use parsley, right? It's multitude of ways, but the ones that come to mind for the season is if you decide to eat him, like garnish your food with him, have him set the boundaries that you need for people to start leeching off of you. Because people are homeless. People get real homeless when it gets cold outside, and then they want to stay with you, or they want to hoard in your place or be in your presence. You can have it set firm boundaries on not allowing people to just continue to be a parasite. I stated before that he's great for breaking poisons and detoxifying the body. Literally ask him to detoxify the body. Ask him to remove all of those things out of your life, because he can do that. He can remove them quite swiftly as well. And he can also allow you to start to forgive yourself. He's also quite cheerful, her. He's very much not a heavy type of spirit. He's very light. He only becomes heavy when you need to face something that you don't want to face. So a herb of accountability. He will make you see things for what they are without being emotionally attached to it. Very much logical. How else I would use him? I would say to inspire courage to continue to move forward in your life's decisions. The decisions to let things go, the decisions to let things die, the decision to walk away relationships, or the decision to walk into some. He's very good in love work. Between, people, if it's to help your home, to establish some peace, he's good for that. He allows people to communicate effectively without becoming too riled up in your emotions. So if y'all both are angry, let's say it's a couple's home or it's your children, and you can have him be able to open up effective communication. Business wise, he can help you be a diplomat. He can help you deal with your bosses. You eating your food on your lunchtime and you got to deal with this meeting afterwards. A chance to keep you level-headed. Allow him to teach you how to be cunning, swift, precise, like the actual air herb that he is. Just a few tips on him. He's a plethora of things.
I'll say this. She touched on something really important, like the love magic aspect, which I know we're going to talk about just a smidge of love magic in every class, right? And let me say this. I think that when it comes to parsley and love magic, don't think about the lustful aspect of things, y'all. Think about it like this. If you have had like bad experiences with men or women in relationships in general, a lot of times that makes you a lot more deterrent towards those particular things. You don't want to date. You don't want to go out and be vulnerable around anybody. You have developed those fears at this point. Parsley does a really good job when it comes to healing your heart in a way where you're not attaching your experiences with other people to your experiences with these new people, right? Because you can meet somebody that you really like. Like, y'all have great chemistry, y'all get along, the conversation nice, they're respectful, and they make you feel safe. But because someone else did not make you feel safe, because somebody else may have taken advantage of a moment of vulnerability, now you want to be in your shell. You want to close yourself off. And it's not necessarily you keeping yourself safe, more so you kind of punishing yourself because you're like, damn, somebody really, really got over on me. Somebody really, and you shouldn't be looking at things like that. Oh, this person got over on me. Never allow your generosity to become a weapon towards you. It's okay to be generous. It's okay to put your faith in people or trust people even, but if they decide to betray your trust, that's on them. So when it comes to being generous and remaining in that very good space in your heart, I recommend carrying a little bit of parsley. Like Shibli said, eat some. It'll make sure you don't take things too far, and it'll make sure they don't either. It's a great way to make people watch their mouth. You eating some parsley with a target in mind? He's also great in your money magic, since we're talking about work. Parsley is really great when it comes to like picking up conversation about you, people talking about you and talking about you in a positive light. He does really great with deflection. So if you have somebody like at your job, for instance, a coworker or something, talking about you, trying to get people not to like, say for instance, your boss goes to this particular coworker, or this coworker hears something about like this boss wanted to give you a raise, or something good happening to you, and they're going out of their way to like try to deter them. She shouldn't have no raise, trying to spread little rumors. Speaking of rumors, something else that's great for that is Priestess Faiza's Gossip Oil. It is in the hoodoo shop, and y'all, it is like one of my favorite things. Like, it's, y'all know me. You want to make the priestess happy, give me some magic, some money. I was going to say another M word, but I just don't think that's appropriate for this particular class. Is so, you know, I was going to say or man, but you know, that's just me. You know, everybody mind your business, and I'll, you know, and I'm gonna mind yours. I'm joking. So, but no, I love Priestess Phase's Gossip Oil. I'll probably get up and go get mine. It's like right in the other room. But like, it's Parsley works like that, right? Now her Gossip Oil is a heavy rumor bouncing concentrate. Okay. Parsley is a raw ingredient, two different things, but same purpose, similar results. Parsley is something I would carry around in my purse. For instance, if we talking about like the term freeloaders, I put in a little sachet, put them right in my wallet. Like he is the energy of like, you know, that one uncle you going to, but he know you full of shit. And you like, let me hold $1. He like, I ain't got it. Knowing damn well he got $1. That's Parsley. He's the I ain't got it. Oh, you know, I ain't got nowhere to stay and done. Like Priestess Shibley said, it's getting cold outside. People are looking for a place to stay. They looking for somebody to freeload off of until it gets warm and they can go outside and have the fun they want to have. And the ancestors are highlighting something for me right now. They're talking about the fact that like be mindful of people like that. Be mindful of people that only come around when they need something. During the summertime, everybody's out having fun. There's a much more likely chance you can just hop from house to house, bounce from couch to couch, you know, within your social circles. Because people are not taking their lives as seriously during the summertime. They're really not. But when you think about like when it starts getting cold and like real life kicks in and you realize that, oh my God, I ain't got nowhere to stay. And I can't just be outside. Or you shouldn't be doing drugs when it's cold outside because it's not going to affect you the same way. You know, you staying in the house a lot more. You stockpiling food because you can't just go outside just because it's cold. People are tired and lethargic during the wintertime, is my point. And so people are looking for shelter. They're looking for somebody to mooch and leech off of, especially during the holiday season when they feel like people are the softest. Make sure you're not allowing people to take advantage of your kindness. If they couldn't show up for you when you was working your butt off during the summertime, which is what the summertime is for, you're not supposed to be lollygagging and fooling around. You're supposed to be working so that you can be comfortable during the winter. If they decide to lollygag and act the fool during the summertime while everybody else was working, that's on them. So you don't get to bask in the comfort of my wintertime. You don't. I will be inside of my home with this heat that I pay for, with this rent that I pay for, with this light bill that I pay for, with these groceries. Because $6 for a bag of chips is outrageous. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with nobody. If you ain't got no place to stay, that's your fault. That's your fault. And that goes for magic as well. Stop doing magic for people. Don't be doing nothing for nobody. Because the wintertime, people love to show up during the wintertime. No shade, y'all, but people love to show up during the wintertime and swear to the priestess, I ain't got no money, but this is going on. But you just came to me like 6 months ago and spent a bunch of money on love magic that you ain't need. And I told you ain't need it. And you decided to be hard-headed and go and do it anyway. And now you done wasted all this money on a man that can't even afford to pay the light bill. And now you coming to me asking for money magic that you can't afford. Priorities out of order. It's a cold game. She right. You see how when you do love magic, let me teach y'all a very mini lecture on love magic. Love magic is for reciprocation. Let me say that one more time. When you doing love magic on somebody, man or woman, it should be so that they are reciprocating whatever you're putting out. You understand? They better have some resources. But if you outside doing work on a bum, what you think you gonna get? Some bum ass results. Now you can't do nothing but keep a bum in your house. And what good is that? What, like, it's fun during the summertime, right? Because you just goofing off. In the springtime, you think it's love. In the summertime, it's lust. When the fall hit, you realize he ain't shit. In the wintertime, you trying to figure out how to put him out. Because now you got to pay for toys for your kids. You got to figure out how to make sure your mama heat stay on because she getting old and she cold and that heat got to be turned all the way up. He not trying to figure out how to do none of that. None of it with you. And the second you tell him to contribute during the house in the wintertime, that selfishness in his mind is kicking in, baby. He is not trying to put in for them kids. Stop spending all y'all money on bums. And this is coming from your love goddess. I'm telling you, stop spending all your money on bums. Spend your money on something that's important, on something that's for you, on something to keep your house safe and prosperous during every season. Because not every season is going to yield the same results. And so if you got somebody in your house that's not willing to contribute, you got people in your house eating up all your resources and your funds. What happens during the wintertime when nothing's growing? And now the food pantry empty. If y'all feel me, we talking about old harvest times. Okay. Since we talking about Oshun, if y'all know anything about the beehive, the women kick the men out and let them die in the cold during the wintertime in the beehive. They die because they don't need them up in there eating all the food and stuff that's supposed to be for the children. And so during the wintertime, mark my words, this is like a little nature lesson for y'all. Go outside, you're going to see like a bunch of dead bees. They're all boys. It's a metaphor, y'all. If he cannot contribute to the household, he ain't supposed to be in the house. A man is a powerful thing to have him up in your house not doing shit. No, absolutely not. If he ain't chopping down the tree for Christmas, he ain't getting no presents, goddamn it. It's a no. Lord. If he's not paying for groceries, what are you feeding him for? And no money, no honey. And we're not even talking about sex. We saw actual honey, nigga, the reparations. If there's no money, there's no honey. Like, we cannot help you. We can't help you. And those of you that really know Oshun, like you know Oshun, you mess around and be giving people stuff they ain't supposed to have, she'll take the rest of your stuff. Like, she will take the rest of your things and teach you a lesson about misplaced generosity. So play with your ear if you want to, and you end up hand empty, pockets empty, wig crunchy. You just never know. You never know. You never know. Just feed yourselves this season. And I'm talking about that go for y'all family too. Don't be giving y'all family places to stay during the winter because they always show up during the winter. Always. It's all, can we come stay with you? Y'all remember Shrek? When Donkey was like, can I stay with you? Can I stay with you, please? No. No. If they move in the winter, they're not leaving until the winter. And when they leave the next winter, it's probably because you kicking them out because y'all done got into a fight. Always keep that in mind. Like, anybody want to add their 2 cents on? Because everybody got experience somewhere in this department.
I say put parsley in their shoe and tell them to beat it. Ain't nobody got time for that. And since Mercury deals with travel, especially short distance, get out. I ain't got time for that. Your eviction notice has been served. And the Bible say a man that don't work don't eat.
Let me tell you something. I go for them homegirls too. Them lazy ass homegirls is always looking for the rich niggas. Y'all better X-nay them hoes. Y'all emphasis on that last word hoes. Y'all better get rid of them. Cause when it get cold and them niggas pockets freeze up and they not passing out money like it's honey no more, guess what they gonna turn to? You. They're gonna be asking you for a handout, you for your resources, you for what you got, and gonna be mad that they can't eat off your plate, even though you haven't been eating off nobody else's. Don't play them games with people. Do not play them games with people. That goes for a lot of people. Like, It's the baby is cold outside my ass. It's no. I'm not going for that. Like, it's no. Y'all got to get rid of them folks. People get real. I always felt like people got real friendly around like when it starts getting cold outside. People get mean during the summertime. You start having all these friendship fallouts and all that. People just get vicious towards you. But when it start getting cold, then all of a sudden people want to give you half-ass apologies and nah, nah. Like for that one sibling, no, you can't watch their kids. No, I'm not watching your kids. Oh, Indy, tell us the children's story. Tell it to us, because I'm pretty sure we know the story you're talking about.
I can't remember it verbatim, but there was like, isn't there like a story about like it's around the fall time, and it's like a squirrel. It was two animals, a squirrel, and it was something else, or maybe it was another squirrel. I don't know. Somebody's gonna correct me about it later. But it was like it's like that squirrel. He was working hard trying to find all his nuts. He knew the winter was coming. He was like, I ain't gonna be outside in the winter, so he was outside getting his nuts and his acorns, and the other animals like, oh, I'll get to it. Oh, you're working too hard. It's whatever. The squirrel was like, all right, keep playing with it if you want to. So then the winter time came, and that squirrel, he was chilling. He had his nuts. He had his home. He was decked out, and the other animal was like, "Oh wait, oh, whoa, 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 whoa." And I feel like that's a metaphor for the time coming up because the fall things are beginning to die, but in the winter things are dead. So the fall is really like a warning. Like you see them leaves change their colors, you're like, all right, okay. If you were kind of slow a little bit, you still got a little time to hustle. But when it's winter, baby, it's dead.
That's funny. I know exactly what story you're talking about because it definitely went just like that. He was hustling the whole spring until the summer. So he was set for fall and winter. He had food stored in his house.
Yep. And his little friend,
I
oh, you
forgot
work.
it was, but yeah, no, that's funny. I remember that story.
And so I feel like this season's gonna expose who was working and who was playing.
Yeah, it'd be just like that too. Oh man.
If
It's
y'all
about to
remember the end of that story, they was like, "Will you share your food?" And he shared. I just want all of y'all at home watching know, nigga, we ain't squirrels. We're not sharing. Y'all are on your own. Like, we used to be that squirrel. Of course, I'll share my resources that I worked this hard for while you was sitting around not doing it. We ain't doing that anymore. Y'all gonna have to figure it out. Y'all
Y'all,
grown just like we grown.
y'all gotta be like the tree. Those leaves fall off because they no longer serve a purpose. They took all the sunlight from spring until the summertime. It took all of its energy that it needed, and then it goes into hibernation. So it can start regrowing the things that it needs, taking from it, taking from whatever people that you need, your business, your jobs, whatever, customers, and then letting them go and keep changing because every leaf is not the same. Literally, shade and some sunlight, and then we go to sleep.
I
I
feel
think
like
that's.
too.
Go ahead,
Oh, I'm
Andy.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna say I feel like too with many of us, especially those who are priestesses, we have the innate ability to regenerate our own energy. And a lot of people don't have that ability or they don't know that they have it and they just haven't tapped into it. But nonetheless, they're not tapping into it. So a lot of people can peep that about you and they can try to harvest your energy for their own circumstances. That's why I feel like a lot of people, especially people who like fall out with a lot of people all the time, they get what they need and then they start falling out. You see it all over social media. Then they like with a new friend or a new friend group and they just hop from friend group to friend group. Energy harvesting is a real thing this season too. I'm done. I just had to put that in there.
You just said something really important. Okay. Let me tell you something. We need to start accepting when we see that people are around us for something that we have and not who we are, right? Who you are is how you show up to the world. What you have can very much have a lot to do with your priesthood, your ability to make everything that you said you was gonna make, do everything that you said that you was gonna do. And I'll give y'all like an example. Now, I ain't gonna put this person's business out there, but this is a prime example. There was someone who was dating this guy, right? The boy lived with his mama. She gave him a chance anyway, right? He had been in this city that she had just moved to a lot longer than she had, right? And even though she was like a year or two older than him, she still worked harder than he did, right? Now, this is the kicker, y'all. This is the kicker. She does all this work. She stresses herself out. She's in this city for a little over a year. She finally gets the place that she wants, right? The place that she needs, her foundation, her stability, a home of her own. Instead of this young man taking the time to work to get it on his own, he waited until she had it to decide that he wanted to attempt to live with her, right? Now, stay on track, y'all. Stay on track. Prime example of someone seeing that. I'm not gonna say that you have the ability to do what they can't, but this is a prime example of somebody thinking that they're playing their cards and God is really playing in their face. Okay. Because he thought he was gonna move in with the girl. Never proposed that to her, never asked her if that was okay, just made the assumption that, oh, maybe if I'm dating this woman, what she has will be mine. Got mad when that wasn't how it turned out. Okay. Got real mad. And then decided that, well, maybe she'll change her mind. She didn't change her mind. Right. And then, right, he decides, I'm going to try to take it myself. Right. I'm going to try to go in there and get something from her. And then got mad because the ancestor stopped him, put his ass out. So in those very few seconds, in those split second decisions, the ancestors then tore your ass up, kicked you out, and destroyed all the hard work that you feel like you did put into this situation with this woman. And whatever could have been built out of the situation had you not chosen to show your behind. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm telling y'all this story because I think that it's funny. Watching it up close and personal was hilarious to me because that's what happens when you do your protection work, especially protection over your wealth. People get close enough, but never quite ever get what it is that they're truly after. That's what you should be using parsley for. Because in case y'all forgot, this is a class about parsley. That's what you use parsley for. That is what you use parsley for. Because somebody will sit around you and think that they playing the long game. Instead of working to get something of their own. And this is what Priestess Indy is talking about. Somebody that don't want to work to get nothing of their own. They just sit around waiting for the people that work a little bit harder, a lot harder at that, a lot harder than they do, to be the gateway to them getting whatever it is that they think that they will. Let me tell y'all the problem with that, specifically with living with other people, because 'tis the damn season for this nonsense. That's still not your house, baby. Even if you do move in with this lady, even if you do, right? That's not your house. Your name not on that lease. If she were to put you out tomorrow, you do not have the money to afford to be able to live, not even in that complex by yourself. And so being a freeloader and using people never turns out the way people really do want it to. Because at the end of the day, all that time you took trying to plot on this girl, not knowing that you weren't the smartest rabbit in the room, right? You could have been working to build something of your own so that you're not having to depend on anybody. And especially, like, a lot of people don't know what it's like when the ancestors call you a thief. Okay, you look, you better off stealing from a thief when it comes to thieving over here with these games. This is not a smart place to be playing reindeer games, man. This is because the ancestors move quick, fast, and in a hurry. When I tell y'all, that girl ancestors, the entire time she was dating that boy, they took all his money. She didn't understand why either. Like she was just sitting here like, y'all, this don't seem right. She got a good heart. Y'all, this don't seem right. His ancestors came to her, was like, can you please tell our child to stop spending his money on you? And then her ancestors showed up and said, no, absolutely not. And she didn't understand why. She felt bad. And in that exact moment, when he thought that he was going to steal from her ancestors, she said, oh, this why they blowing all your money. Right? But if you was in alignment, you wouldn't be spending all your money on a situation that wasn't going to work out no way. So who fault is that? You see what I'm saying? Y'all, do y'all protection work. You may not always see an enemy coming. I'll tell you that, but at least you know they're gonna be handled without fault. Do your protection work. I want everybody to go and put just a little bit of parsley up under they front, they front porch. Y'all better have a doormat at y'all front porch. Sprinkle just a little bit of parsley up under there. Just a smidge. Just maybe even a little bit like under your bed or under the rug in your room or something. Just to deter all that extra nonsense that you don't need, right? Put it in a 4-wash. Use it like that. Mop your house. Do something with it. Let's find a way. So this is definitely a time where things are dying, but more importantly, people are coming to a realization that if they weren't able to use you then, they're not going to be able to use you now. People tend to self-isolate around this time. And the ones who are trying to use them always get just a little bit upset around this time if if these people are self-isolating intelligently, because these people become a lot harder to get your hands on. Now you can't reach them, you can't find them. It's cold outside. People don't want to casually hang out. That's another thing. It completely removes the casual hangouts from the equation, right? When it's hot outside, you don't really care about spending time around people for real. You're not really taking it seriously. But when it's cold, like, yeah, I'm not gonna come sit in your car with you for what? It's cold outside. Why would I do that? You see, because they don't have nothing more to offer to you than maybe sitting in their car and freezing to death. Go where your bread is buttered and where they can afford a log for the fire, if you catch my drift. But don't go nowhere where they looking at you like, you got heat in your house? You got food in your fridge? I done worked my butt off all summer to build all of this, make sure it's like repetitive and complete and all this. And you think you finna bring your scrawny tail self up in this house and eat out this fridge? I'm gonna go feed the homeless before I feed you. I swear I will. Like I will be in line at the soup kitchen handing out soup bowls before I play these games with you, you very capable and able person. No, I'm not the squirrel. I'm not the squirrel. Like I remember that book too. Indy is hilarious. She really just brought us back to a moment in our childhood. Cause that squirrel at the end, he was like, of course I'll share with my friends. I'm not gonna let anybody starve. They would have let you starve. They would have let you starve. Like, and that sounds mean, that sounds morbid, but it's the truth. The same people that you won't let starve gonna let you starve. The same people you wouldn't dare talk bad about gonna talk bad about you. The same people whose secrets you ain't telling them bitches is selling yours. Like, man, the same people you wouldn't let be outside in the cold wouldn't give you a damn blanket to sleep on a porch. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop being so generous, because these people are spitting your food when you ain't looking. They will spit in your food. Priestess Faiza, do you have anything to say about boundaries this season?
I just wanted to touch on love magic and how not only the love magic affects the person that you're doing it towards, but it also affects you. So when you're investing your time, your energy, your magic into a brokey, guess what you're gonna get out of it? Nothing. You're not gonna get the results that you want. He actually or she actually may be stealing from you in like simple ways. It can be energy, it can be money, it can be who you know, but in general, your resources. But it's just really holding yourself up to a certain standard and valuing yourself and loving yourself enough to know what you deserve and what you don't deserve, and give where you're give where you are able to receive. Because some people may be taking from you and not even realizing that they're taking from you. Or some people may be giving all they have, but what they have may not be what you need. And feel like that they're doing a lot when they're not doing enough for you. So just pour into the right things, pour into the right people, pour into the right places, and use your resources wisely. And don't always allow other people to invest into you, because not all investments are good investments as well. And I think that's all I have for tonight.
She just said something really important. Not all investments are good investments. Y'all remember that old country saying? If you're from the South, you probably know. The devil never shows up with a pitchfork and horns. He always shows up with a smile and gift, right? And so, when you think about like sometimes as women, I heard somebody say this recently. They said as women, and I'm not just talking about women, so don't come in my comments acting a fool, please, okay? Because I will say something. But us as women, we're speaking from a woman's perspective because there's only women in this class. Someone said, and it was a man that said this. He said sometimes you women date for potential and not based on the actions of how the person is behaving at that very moment. And he said something that was like spot on. When Princess Faisa said that sometimes people are giving you all that they have and they just don't have what you need, that's the truth. That's the truth. So yeah, they're gonna get mad. I've done everything for you. We probably all have heard that nonsense at one point in time. I'm doing everything for you. But to them, that's the truth. If they don't have anything else to give, that's the truth. So to know that they're giving you everything that they can, and it's not a fraction of what you're able to return, and they know that, and they're still waiting to get whatever it is that they're aiming for out of this situation, you dang right they're gonna be mad. Which is why you really shouldn't be taking things from men that you're settling for anyway. That's the lesson learned. Like, if he don't have what you need, don't take nothing from him. Because he is already under the impression that he doesn't have what you need. If you think a man don't know that he don't have what you need, you crazy as hell. He know that. He know that. Like, people know that. Friendships, romantic relationships, family relationships, they know damn well they do not have nothing that you need from them. They don't. But that's not gonna stop them from sitting here and being like, I give you everything that I can. What you can give me is not, for one, not what I can give myself. And for two, just because it's what you have doesn't mean that I have to settle for it. And I don't think a lot of us realize how angry that makes a lot of people. Like, somebody gonna get mad if they feel like they're giving you all they possibly can, and you still come back at the end of it all and say this isn't enough for me. It's not. They're gonna call you selfish. They gonna call you ungrateful. They gonna call you all kinds of childish nonsense. And it's, for one, a lot of it's coming out of insecurity because they knew they didn't have what you needed in the first place. But two, I need y'all to stop taking so much pity on people like that. Like, they knew what they were doing. They knew how they came into that situation. They knew that the only reason why they were willing to give you all of this is because they wanted what you had in return. And were hoping that you probably weren't going to realize that they were falling short of the standard, which is the truth. Somebody at some point in time is hoping that you do not pick up on the fact that they are unworthy of you. It's not that they were ever unaware. It's not that they ever thought that they were. No, they're like, I'm going to, even though, oh, this sounds so bad. Y'all don't eat me up for this. Imagine like the poor farmer going to like the witch, right? Or the king for that matter. The poor farmer goes to the queen and says, Queen, all I have is a chicken, right? And the queen says, that's not enough, Like, we need more than a chicken in here. A chicken is not going to feed everybody in this palace, right? Because the queen is thinking about everybody inside of the kingdom. She's not just thinking about herself. A chicken may be enough for her, but it's not enough for everyone else there in her home, under her reign. And so this particular farmer gets mad. You're ungrateful. You think that you're above me. This is all I have. My only chicken. Why are you trying to give me your only chicken? Why are you not using your one and only chicken to make more eggs, to make more chicken? Right? Why are you not doing that? But no, instead of doing that and figuring out how to solve your problem yourself, you'd rather come all the way up here to my castle. You look at everything I have, get mad, and assume that because you don't have nothing, it's my job to give you something up in here for this damn chicken. I'm not giving you shit. And I don't need the goddamn chicken. So keep it. I don't need it. Now, and then you have the other farmer that comes in, Queen, all I have is this chicken, right? All I have is this chicken. Now, I know that it may not be enough for you, but this is what I have to give, right? And even if she rejects him, he says, I understand. She gives him advice that he takes, and now he has built an entire farm. You see the difference? One is taking pity on themselves and expecting somebody else to fix it. The other one says, well, I didn't have enough, and that's okay. That doesn't have anything to do with her. She wasn't mean. She wasn't nasty to me. And not only that, but she gave me the help I needed to be able to build on my own. So a year later, you got one farmer who is dying of starvation, right? He had to sell his farm just to live. He never did anything with the chicken. In fact, he decided to kill the chicken out of anger, ate the chicken and had that dinner for 2 nights, didn't have nothing else to eat. Right? And then you have the other farmer a year later who took the queen's advice and brought her an entire herd of chickens because he got more and then paid his dowry. You understand what I'm saying? Like, one's building resources, the other one's looking for a handout. That's the difference between the type of people that y'all should be dealing with. Don't ever deal with somebody that brings you the chicken and gets mad enough when you don't take it. Especially since somebody who really cares about you is not going to sit here and take your last means of resource anyway. I'm not taking this from you. You need it more than I do, believe me. So be careful. When we're talking about love magic, when we're talking about any kind of work or just life experiences in general, pay attention to the person that gets mad at you for not taking their last. It means that they wanted something that they felt like was more valuable, something that they were willing to trade the little bit of resource that they had. You must have something that they're after that you may not know about. Right? Meanwhile, the other one is just looking for a little bit of guidance. The one that wants guidance is much more valuable than the one that's trying to throw his last at you. And that's my spill for the evening, ladies. Priestesses, do y'all have anything else to say? I'm going to do a couple of announcements before we get off out of this class. Does anybody have anything to say? Yes, no, maybe so.
It reminds me of the Bible story when the person had 3 men, had 3 different talents, 3 different number of talents. One buried it, one multiplied it, and one multiplied so much that you almost got 3 times the amount. Sometimes you got to be watchful of people who you are interacting to see what they do. Because if I'm not mistaken, one of them got cursed for just burying his talent and never using it. And that's a real thing. If you're investing and it's not in yourself and you're investing in other people, make sure that they're actually doing something with that investment. That includes even your children when they become older. It has to make sense. Make it make sense. Take your heart out of it. Make it make sense. Remember, marriage, all of that is a business before it was love. And they cared about legacies and what people were bringing to the table at that time. Be very mindful of who you decide to interact, because sometimes you are more wealthy than others and they convert that wealth. And that doesn't mean monetarily, that means spiritually too. Energy vampires are a real thing. And sometimes they're your friends, they're your family, they're your lovers. Always protect yourself. That was all.
She's right. She's She's right. Please do not go out of your way trying to prove your worth to somebody who is unworthy, unwealthy, and impoverished. Because normally those are the only ones that ask you to prove your worth to them anyway. Never trust someone to ask you what you bring to the table when you know that you brought the house, you built the damn table, you birthed the food, and then you gave life to just about every motherfucker at the table at that. Okay, we're not having that conversation with nobody. Um, and Princess India is right. People do know who to play with. So towards the end of our class, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a conversation about our announcements and what you all can be looking forward to here at the House of Frida, the Hoodoo Shop. For those of you that know, if you don't know, I have been taking last minute appointments for maybe the past 2 months or something. For those of you that had needed emergency assistance, so if you need your ancestral life path readings, you're ready to set up your altar, you're ready to get that love reading at the if you wasn't ready to get that love reading before this class, I would hope afterwards you're strongly considering it. Don't wait till Christmas to be like, I knew I should have put him out. Put him out now, baby. Put him out now. It's because Lord, put him out now. What else, ancestors? So we have our general readings. This is a really good time to be taking baths, you guys. And I have a special announcement. We are now offering work in regards to sexual assault survivors here at the Hoodoo Shop. We have had some very unpleasant encounters with young ladies that have faced some real heinous acts, and men as well. So men, come speak your truth, okay? Not only will we be cleaning y'all off, sending baths and shipping them out, but in this particular appointment hasn't been added to the shop just yet, but you can book it as a love reading. In the meantime, until we work out the kinks of it all. But we hexing predators, y'all. That's the bottom line. Like we getting right with predators here at the shop, and we're making sure that you all are able to live and breathe and move on with your lives and be happy that nobody took anything from you except for momentarily your peace of mind. Okay. So one step at a time with that. If you know anybody that needs help, doesn't feel like they can talk to anybody else, we have an entire army of priests here that are willing and ready and able to help you. So get in contact with myself or one of the other senior priestesses here at the shop, Priestess Chablis, Priestess Faiza, Priestess Diamond, somebody. Get in contact with somebody. If you're watching this later, send your loved ones here. It's sad to say, but the majority of us know at least one person. At least one, if not two, if not a handful. Okay. And it's just time for people to get washed off and to deal with these things appropriately and have somebody sit down with them and say, I understand, I hear you, and it's not your fault. Okay. On a happier note, we will be going to Puerto Rico in 2025 next year. Around this time, we will be leaving in October. We'll be gone for about a week, y'all, about a week. The exact location, like the city we'll be in, is to be announced. We are offering housing accommodations. We'll have a lovely, luxurious home to sit and bathe and be happy in. We're also offering just the services itself because this is for ceremony, ladies and gentlemen. We will be having baths and ritual and all these lovely things, moments from the ocean. Thank you, God. Moments from the ocean. And so start making your arrangements now. We are accepting payment plans for those of you that do not need to or don't want to pay all at once, because we get it. We really do. And just one step at a time, y'all. It really is one step at a time. Get in contact with one of the priestesses of the House of Freedom for that as well. And start making early accommodations. I do not want to hear no last minute priestesses. There's still space and there's still room. We are leaving the country, girls. Leaving the country. I do not want to hear last minute moment. Is there still space? No, there's not any more space. You're gonna have to find your own accommodations. We'll still serve you, right? But you ain't sleeping in this house, okay? Because I'm doing head counts and everything. Like a whole nother country, we are responsible for one another. We are Black women somewhere other than here, and here is already enough. Okay. So let's make sure that everybody's getting there and getting back in one piece safely and everyone's accounted for and we don't have to make any last minute adjustments. Okay. On another note, if you have been monitoring the Hoodoo shop, then you know all the extra, I do mean extra additives that have been, all the additional products and services and everything that has been added into the shop thus far. Y'all, we have more enchanted talismans, Priestess Indy and myself. Before we hit the record button, we're talking about the Telemol glasses. That's not what they call, but they're beautiful. They're black shades, they're gold dragons on the rim. And when we talk about magical talismans, anything can be a talisman if you enchant it the right way. And if you know, like you know, everything in the Hoodoo shop has been enchanted for you. So there are some magical shades that just dropped earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken, that allow you to see people for who they truly are. And they look normal. They don't look like no psychedelic, we were talking a lot earlier in this class about priestessing in plain sight. While we love our ceremonial guards, we love our long white gowns and robes and all, we can't wear that in public. We spend the majority of our time trying to hide what we are, not because we scared, but because we scare other people. So going to the thread section of the Hoodoo shop, we have new gowns. We have new gowns that you can wear out and nobody ever know the difference. Now, we can't hide the way that a priestess looks in the face because all of y'all look like priests, okay? But we can enhance some of those features without anybody knowing exactly what you are. Priestess in plain sight sometimes doesn't look like wearing an evil eye around your neck or around your wrist, right? Because that's a tall tale sign. Sometimes it looks like having on some bamboo. Sometimes it looks like wearing some gold bangles. If you know, then you know. Okay. Sometimes it looks like having enchanted lip balm. I have enchanted lip balm. I think it's in my pocket, y'all. It is. So, give me a moment. This is my Luna lip balm from the Hoodoo shop. As you can see, it's been used. But look at it. And something I learned about this lip balm like recently is that it's really great when it comes to dealing with things like depression, right? She's really great when it comes to like calming down your dreams. She's really great when you want somebody around you to tell the truth. They may not blurt out the truth, but I think that the truth is more so seen and not heard. And it'll expose how someone behaves around you. It's also really great to like ease your anxiety if you're worried about money or you're worried about, romantic relationships and things of that nature. She does a really great job at like just relaxing you. And yeah, like priestessing in plain sight is on prominent display at the shop. Beginning of class before I hit record, you all heard me say that I was putting together some waist beads from one of the senior priestesses here at the Hoodoo shop. It's almost there. She has her enchanted waist beads coming in. So much hard work. She better know that I love her. Like so, because I'm tired and frustrated. But it was so worth it. We have an entire section of tarot cards and playing cards and pendulums and runes if you are into runes. We have books that have been written by the Hoodoo shop and extra additives. We've partnered with Faiza Moselle Alchemy, Priestess Faiza's alchemist store, her boutique, her apothecary. We have Priestess Chablis who has released smoke blends, y'all. Smoke blends. Like a beautiful milk bath that I personally use. I love it. She has yoni steams. Like when you think about the Hoodoo shop, think about the one-stop shop for all the girls. Okay. If you need magic, it's here. No matter what you need, it's gonna be here. Like, where can you get an enchanted gown and brick dust in the same place? Nowhere. Like, nowhere. You can't get that nowhere. Where can you get enchanted earrings and enchanted like lingerie and pajama sets? Nowhere. It's just here. And enchanted mirrors. Princess Faiza has an entire mirror kit that teaches you how to decorate and adorn an enchanted mirror. The Hoodoo shop carries enchanted mirrors. Now, I'm not putting together a kit. You ain't getting that out of me. But she do. She taking all her precious time and doing that for y'all. I feel like I did enough for y'all. I ain't doing nothing else. I'm not. So, go get y'all smudge sticks. Go get your enchanted clothing. We got hoodies. It's getting cold. we got everything, y'all. Is my point. There's if you could think of something else for us to add, let me know. We have enchanted tea sets to go on your altar. If you're not giving your ancestors tea, what are you doing? If you really know about these practices, like your ancestors like nice stuff. They may not need it, but they like it, and it may help your prayers. Go get them an enchanted tea set. We have crystal trees that I do not believe have been restocked, but Priestess Diamond, who has been having technical difficulties, literally has an entire enchanted crystal tree. It's beautiful. It's obsidian, if I'm not mistaken. It's lovely. Lovely. Okay. We have all kinds of things. We got crystal daggers and knives, and if I ever find a sword, y'all can have that. We have our mummies, our night walkers at the hoodoo shop, and almost every priestess under the House of Frida has one. Right? If you do not know what a night walker is, we use them things for everything. Y'all know that hot sauce commercial where like I put that shit on everything. That's what them things is for. If you are not someone who likes doing excessive amounts of magic, or you don't have the space capacity or the room, I would recommend one. Like, why should you have to light a candle for this and a lamp for that and make a doll for that? No, just stick it all under the mummy, inside the waistband of the mummy. If you would like one, come to me, because I am the one putting them things together. Okay, they are very hard to craft by yourself. If you like to go and watch the class, go right on ahead, but you just won't see that. I proved my point. Okay, they are hard to put together by yourself. It's not no simple magic. This is not something that we playing around with. It is a serious creation. Okay, so if you have more questions about it, if you would like to start a payment plan for your mummy, for your night walker, please come and let me know, and we can start putting them together. Not to mention that no two are the same. So please don't think that yours is gonna look like anybody else's, and that's if you've even seen somebody else's. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And join traditional mentorship. Go through the Patreon, go through the Hoodoo Shop Patreon and join traditional mentorship if you're having a hard time learning based on these videos, these classes. If you need one-on-one mentorship help, you're trying to get closer to your ancestors, understand your read, all these all of these lovely things, go through mentorship. Go through mentorship. Do you hear me? Okay, go through mentorship. So y'all have been lovely. Ladies, y'all have anything to say before we hop up out of here? No. Okay. Love y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed class tonight. We're going to do this again. I'm actually going to post this class on the Hoodoo Shop YouTube. So if you missed anything, don't worry, don't fret. We'll go back and you'll be able to see it later. More than likely, it will be posted sometime tomorrow because your priestess is tired. I ain't doing this with y'all tonight. So I love y'all. I adore y'all. Y'all did lovely this evening. And good night. Okay.